Okay, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead from 1991, Warner Brothers Entertainment, and from HBO Video. This, to me, I like this movie. This is so 90s, so early 90s. Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. It's about Christina Applegate, who we all know as Kelly Bundy on Married with Children. Married with Children. Plays Sue Ellen, what's her last name? Crandall. Yeah, Sue Ellen Crandall. And at the beginning of the movie, her friends are going to Europe, and she can't go because her mother didn't pay for the trip or whatever. But she decides to stay with her siblings throughout the summer because the mother, what was the mother's name? Mrs. Crandall. I forget her name, but my writing's so small you can't see it. But the mother is going to Australia, I think, to visit her boyfriend, and that's when they get this sitter who at first seems like a nice old lady, but she's a real evil old lady. If you watch the movie, oh man! But I just love it when Sue Ellen finds out she's going to have a babysitter because she thought she could watch the siblings. It's like, I don't need a babysitter, Mom. But the mother just hires the babysitter anyway. I like this movie because of the siblings and the actors. They have chemistry together. You have Walter, played by Robert High Garman, I think, or is it German? I forget. Sorry, I wrote this word so small you probably can't read it, but he was the actor who was in the Mr. Nanny and the Leprechaun movie. He plays Walter Crandall. The older, one of the older brothers, played by Keith Coogan, he plays Kenny. He's the rock and roll kid, rebellious, heavy metal fan. He's so funny in this movie. Rock and roll, yeah. And you have Christopher. Hold on, I'm going to try to say his last name right. Please forgive me. Christopher Pinto. I say Pinto. Who played Zach. Sadly, the actor died of a drug overdose in 2000, so it's very sad. But he was real good in this movie as the lady's man, Zach. And you have Danielle Harris, who plays Melissa Crandall. The tomboyish. She's very tomboy. She loves. She's a tomboy. She loves baseball. She says, she was very good in this movie. I also loved her in Halloween 4 as, what's her character name? Michael Myers' niece. I can't think of her character's name right now. You know how my mind is. But anyway, so the babysitter is this mean old lady who's very strict, crazy. She tells the kids what to do. I remember the scene where Walter was watching Super Password, and she says, "TV rots your brains," and she turns it off, and she tells him to do schoolwork. It's supposed to be the summer or, homework. She wants him to study an encyclopedia. And also love the scene where Zach was on a date with what was his girlfriend's name? Man, what was her girlfriend's name? Hold on. It was Sylvia. He calls her his moon goddess. I like the scene where he and Sylvia were in the car and the babysitter just knocks on the door with the window with her cane and says, "Time for little boys to get in bed." And he says, "Can you see we're in the middle of a date?" And then when she opens the door, she says, "It's time for little trollops to go home." That was so funny. Another scene where she orders Melissa to dress like a real girl, and because she doesn't like dressing in girly girl clothes. Where she says, "Time for little girls to dress like little girls, sugar and spice." And when she has her back turned, she gives her the bird and shuts her bedroom door. And this is the scene that's really important to the movie, and it's one of my favorite scenes where The babysitter, oh yeah, Mrs. Storak, played by, who played Mrs. Storak? I'm trying to think of her name. Mrs. Storak. Ida Ross Marin. I think she passed away in 97, 98. I could be wrong. But anyway, when she goes to Kenny's room, she sees this all heavy metal, like rock and roll porn. Well, not really porn, but you see that poster of the girl with her nipples covered, but all this heavy metal art, and she starts to have a heart attack, and she eventually dies. But that's where all the, like Zach, Melissa, and Walter go into Sue Ellen's room and tell her that they couldn't take Miss Storak anymore because she's getting them up to tidy up the garage. And when Sue Ellen tries to tell Mrs. Storak off, she finds her dead body in the chair. No, she wakes her up and she drops dead on the floor, and she says, "Oh my God." Later on, Kenny, in the movie, Mrs. Storak and Kenny didn't interact, so it'd be funny. It would have been funny if Mrs. Storak tried to piss off Kenny, telling him what to do, and but that didn't happen. But anyway, he comes home with his rock and roll friend, on high or whatever. And Sue Ellen tells Kenny to come here. You're not going to believe this. And all the kids see the dead body, and they got to get rid of it. First, they want to. No, Sue Ellen says, call the cops, call the ambulance. I don't know. They're going to come and get her. They're going to ask us some questions. The Kenny's like, they'll probably blame us. Who said? I think Zach said. I could be wrong. They definitely call Mom, and I think Melissa said she'll blame us. And Kenny, I remember Kenny saying, yeah, she'll be on the next flight home, and she'll be in our faces. And they didn't want their mom to come back, so they decided to get rid of the body themselves. And they just dumped her in the funeral home in a trunk that said, "Nice old lady, died of natural causes." Funny that the morticianers, well, not the morticianers, I say janitors because they look like janitors, didn't ask, but that's just a movie, it didn't matter. But they still had Mrs. Storak's car, and they just, but they wanted to get some food or whatever. And I remember the mom, Mrs. Crandall, left Mrs. Storak a lot of money, but the money was on her dead body, probably in her pockets or whatever. So they go back and they, search the house, leaving it in a mess, trying to find the money, but they couldn't find the money, so they knew it was on the old lady. So that was the main plot of the movie. One of the kids had to get a job. It was either Kenny or Sue Ellen, and Sue Ellen lost when they flipped the pizza box to get some money, so the kids weren't starved to death. Well, Sue Ellen's into fashion. She wants to be a fashion model. No, not a fashion model, a fashion designer. She was hoping she would get a job as a fashion designer, but she got a job in one of those kiddie fast food restaurants. And I always liked the guy who played the manager there. He seemed like a real happy guy. That's on Helium. That's what the kid who played Brian, what was the kid's name? That's going to be Melissa's love interest. Spoiler alert, but you probably know these kind of movies anyway. Watching these kind of movies. Who played Brian? I'm trying to see, wrote his name down. I think I forgot I forgot to wrote his name down. Forgive me, but anyway. So Sue Ellen couldn't take anymore on the first night, so she quit, and she goes through the one ads to find a job for something in the fashion industry. I can't remember, but she goes to find out where she's supposed to work at, like personnel. I always remember that scene where she was talking to the actress who played Caroline, the bitchy character, and you are supposed to go down to personnel. That is on the first floor. Do you understand? I always remember that. That was so hilarious. And then the lady who played Rose, the boss of the company, I don't know if she's the head boss, Joanne Cassidy, she offers Sue Ellen as her secretary job. She takes it. So, and later on, another cool scene is where they get their car stolen by Liza Minnelli and her drag queen friends. I don't think that was supposed to be real Liza Minnelli. It looked like a woman than a man, but I could be wrong. When they were at the arcade or whatever. So Brian, the delivery boy has to go pick them up. It's another scene, so Sue Ellen and Brian can flirt. It's a hilarious scene. And that's I'm going to stop right there. I'm not going to give away too much. I'm going to make some too much. There's another cool scene where Walter breaks his leg. While Kenny was supposed to watch him, he was getting stoned with his rock and roll buddies. That was where Walter, ordered the satellite dish so they could get a new home entertainment center. I always remember that. They took out, what was it, Sue Ellen's money for the company, I forget, but each one of them spent it on different things. I remember they gave their dog Elvis a new chew toy, a big bone. And Melissa wanted a new password game, and Zach gave Sylvia a new diamond. Walter got that satellite dish, and that's all I remember. I remember the rest of the scene where they had to get their house ready for that party, so Sue Ellen could save her job. I like they were all dressed as waiters. Kenny cut off his rock and roll hair, mullet or whatever, and then they were all getting the party ready. There's some other cool scenes in that movie. I know I talk too much about this movie because I used to love this as a kid. But before I end this video, I want to talk about the old VHS tape. There was an ad that you could win something like a contest. They did this a lot in old VHS tapes back in the day. I miss those. And they had this typical Valley Girl, teenage girl who was saying you can win prizes at the end. They enjoyed the movie totally, or how she ever talked. I always remember they were talking about the actors who were in the movie at the end of the contest, and the mean-looking Mrs. Storak, and that Valley Girl saying, "Don't you wish you want her as a babysitter?" Like, for sure, or something like that. I can't remember. I know this was also released on DVD, but I doubt that would have been on the DVD feature. If they release this on Blu-ray, they can just put that on the feature. I don't know if it's on Blu-ray yet. I don't know if this movie, if it's on Blu-ray, I doubt they would put that feature in there either. But they used to do a lot of those, win something contests or order something contests from back in the day, like in that movie Return of the Living Dead Part 2. You order those cool T-shirts from movie tees, which I know that doesn't exist anymore, but it was cool when it was around. Oh yeah, Caroline hates the fact that Sue Ellen took her position at work. So her boyfriend, played by David Duchovny, Gus couldn't stand her either. So they just trying to get her fired or find something on her, blackmail her or something just to get her fired because they just don't want her there. They can't stand her. And in another scene, the actor John Getz, who played Gus Brandon, who was supposed to be Rose's boyfriend, he was flirting on Sue Ellen, even though she was underage. She was really 17. And, Gus wanted to have sex with her, but that didn't end up happening. I just love the scenes where Gus was trying to hit on Sue Ellen. That was just hilarious. Cheating on Rose, but it actually worked out in the end. What is his name? Brian, I forget the character. I forget the actor's name, so forgive me. And Sue Ellen, they got together at the end, and that was when the mom came home and she asked, well, she couldn't believe they were throwing a fancy party, but she did ask Sue Ellen, "Where is the babysitter?" And that song, oh yeah, that song, Dragging the Line. I love that song, that remake from the '70s song. Can't even remember who sings it, both versions. I have to look into it. But at the end, where they had those two mortician guys, like I said, when they buried her, they didn't know who she was, so they just put the words "nice old lady died of natural causes" on her tombstone, and they had the money that was supposed to be for the kids, and I remember that guy saying, "Hey, you want to go to Vegas? Hey, what are you doing this weekend? You got any money left? Let's go to Vegas or something." But that was a cool early '90s movie. I wish it would have gotten a sequel. Now I know not every movie can get a sequel, but You know, it was so cool. This is a cult movie, a cult teenage '90s movie or '90s teen movie. I enjoy it. If you didn't see this movie, you should. It's really good. I watched this all the time in the '90s, back in the day when I had HBO. I used to own the old VHS tape. I always remember that, like I said, contest at the end of the tape. Some of you might remember it if you owned it, if you had it on VHS. But I love the cover too. Search for this on Wikipedia or the internet, and you'll see "Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead" cover. It's so nice. That's all I'm gonna say. And please subscribe to my channel if you do like my videos. You don't have to like me. You don't have to respect me. Please subscribe to my channel. I need more subscribers, baby. Anyway, that said, I'm out. And check out "Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead." It is a good '90s movie.